Hey, family. Hey, family. Hey, family. Hey, be more city. Be more city. Be more city. Be more city. Hey, be more city. Be more city. Be more city. We more city. Hey, be more city. Be more city. Be more city. Hey, be more city. Hey, be more city. Be more city. You know what? I try to be consistent, stick to the time between 6 and 8, Sunday through Sunday. Try to stick to the time. L, today is the couch, right? Hey, Corey, today is the couch. And the prompt that I put up is basically educational purposes only, family. Um, I was sharing this on another video before I came up, right? I'm not your average teddy bear. What's up, son? I'm not your average teddy bear, right? As a recovering addict, and y'all know I share this a lot, with the working knowledge of the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts. The work that I do, I am considered as a life coach, okay? As an ordained deacon. And if you know Bible, if you know scripture, and if you know why they appointed the 7, I am one of the 7. If I tell you the name of my LLC is Strengthen the Community, what did Jesus Christ come back to this earth for? To build back up in the community. He came back to his lost generation of people. So if I tell you I'm an ordained deacon, that's ministry for me. Because I'm not out on the streets every day like I used to be when I first started out years ago. This is how, because I have to stay in touch with the Innocent Project. I have to stay in touch with our politicians. I have to stay in touch with our church members as a religious man. Anything involving organized religion and politics is what I normally come up against. But guess what? When I say I, you can look at me all you want. When I say I, because I came obedient to the calling. God called a lot of y'all to go back out and do his work. And you running. So when I say I, whenever you hear me say I, look at the courage, look at the confidence that it took for me to become obedient. I'm not like a lot of other people and run the other way. So don't you ever think when you go, it's his pride, it's his ego, it's his courage, it's his confidence, it's his standards. It's his morals. It's his value. Yup. Yes, it is. That's why I said it the way I just did. Because it takes a lot of courage and confidence to step up to the plate. I could be like Jonah and run the other way, but I won't have no peace in my life. So because I was called. So today, the couch. And for a lot of y'all don't understand, this is what we do as a sponsor with men, women, and women with children. We help people turn the quality of their lives around. I am not no joke when it comes to God people. I'm not no joke when it comes to our lost generation of people. If you the type of person that like to lie, manipulate, and play and get over on the people, that's your thing. That's not Steve Copeland. I did that type of stuff when I was running the streets. I did that type of stuff when we had the package out on the streets. I don't live that life today. So I don't choose to instill that type of unhealthy lifestyle on our people. So God has me moving in a total different direction. I live stream to TikTok. My live stream to TikTok is not just American people watch us. We're being seen all around the world in other countries. So if people got this if people got this negative outlook about us as melanated people, y'all are proving the point. So a lot of times when we come on these platforms and people see us over in Europe, Africa, other countries, and we up here acting like uncivilized, dark human beings, y'all are making the point proven. Okay? Don't get mad at the white man, because they created these platforms, and there's some black companies too, that black owners that create this type of technology as well. I keep telling y'all, they not all YT. And that's not the badge, whoever got money. Basically, that's what you got to look at. It's entertainment purposes only. Educational purposes only. I ain't up here to try to look good, because I already know I look good. That's not the problem. I ain't up here trying to sound like I'm a religious man that walks on water. I tried it. It didn't work. As long as I'm living in this flesh, I will never be perfect in this flesh. And if you are perfect in your flesh, then you keep doing what you got to do for you. Don't sit back when you fall short and say, yeah, I'm in the world, but I ain't of the world. Eyes are in the world, but eyes are not of the world. And you participate in worldly things just like everybody else. But you're in the world, but I'm not of the world. You ain't walking around like Adam and Eve. You walk around like that in the world today, you're going to get arrested. I'm in the world, but I ain't of the world. I like the house, the cars, the jewelry, the gold, but I in the world, but I ain't of the world. I be like, huh? Yeah, I in the world, but I ain't of the world. We look at each other and find each other very, very attractive. I in the world, but I ain't of the world. I had to stop lying to myself. Keep lying to yourself. I in the world, but I ain't of the world. I'm a handsome dude. Wait a minute, OG. Eyes are in the world, but eyes are not of the world. Now I'm telling y'all, it's not about y'all. I gotta be true to myself and who I serve. I remember when I first got clean, family. I tried to be perfect. I tried not to lust. I tried not to all the things, that the body craves and want to do. I was doing pretty good for about 18 months. And 18 months into my recovery process and trying to be perfect, I felt like I was about to lose my mind. That's why I trip out on people. They're so heavenly bound that they're no earthly good because I was there. See, I thank God for a balanced life. I thank God when I can go back and look back over my life, right? When I can go back and look back over my life and look at my old my Old Testament, right? Or my old testimony, because I think a lot of y'all get it mixed up. I'm only talking about my past life. Whenever y'all hear me, when y'all hear me talk about, certain things about life, right? I'm only sharing from how I used to be. And the reason why I talk, this is what Bible shows me, right? And if I'm wrong, God will reveal it. But I know I'm not. Whenever I talk about my past, of how God worked with me during those times, that's my Old Testament. I'm going to do that again for the crowd in the back. Whenever I talk about my past life, I am sharing my Old Testimony. That's why it's called the Old Testament. And if you look at that lifestyle that we lived before we came obedient to a more healthier way of life, and that's in Jesus Christ. Did they not talk about the coming of Jesus before he even came here? Talked about it in Samuel, the virgin's birth. People like to twist stuff the way they want it, but you got to look at your life. When God destroyed the earth by water back then, in order to become one with Christ, you have to be born again. That's normally baptized in water to become a new creature in Christ. Now, scripture might be fake and phony to some, but scripture comes to life to a lot of us. So the same way I lived that old way of life, I have to learn to live a new way of life. It was all in me. It was just that I choose. to live according to the streets, according to destruction. So when I look back at my old way of doing things, and I tell y'all, even though I knew it was wrong, because my mother taught me better, you could not tell me I was wrong. You can run off at your mouth all you want and say, oh, you knew, oh, this, oh, that. But what did I just say? Listen to the words coming out my mouth. Even though my mom taught me better, I'm the one that choose to live the opposite way of life. I'm the one that started smoking the plant at 11. I'm the one that started drinking the T-Bird when I was 13 in a cup about this size. It was about this size with a straw in it, full of T-Bird. See, I can tell my story because I ain't running from life today. I'm the one that took that flower. I'm the one and started it. The rich man thing. We called it the rich man high. I'm the one asked my cuz, can you pew this stuff? And she said, yeah. So I said, hit me. I'm the one. So I can tell my story about my past without walking in a lot of shame, guilt, embarrassment. That's my story. You can't take it from me. You can't do nothing with my past experience. I lived it. I've been there. I've done it. You better tell your story. Because I ain't afraid to tell my truth. I ain't afraid to tell people how good God is and how he delivered me over 33 years ago. I ain't afraid. A lot of y'all are afraid. I ain't afraid to tell the truth. I ain't afraid to shame the devil and tell that sucker move on about his business. That's y'all bull crap. I ain't afraid because I gained courage. I gained confidence to be able to talk about Steve Copeland. I ain't afraid. Wait a minute, I'm trying to make sure I'm live streaming to my other channels. Family, wait a minute. I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid to talk about my life. Yeah, I ain't afraid. I'm just trying to make sure, family. I'm streaming to my other stuff. I ain't afraid. But look, in that process, right, to thy own self, be true. Understand what I'm saying? And as a Christian man, and when I tell y'all I'm a Christian man, I'm not talking about based around, let me watch that, because it could be based around the religion as well. But I look at the religion as more like the solid ground, right? The foundation for where I'm at spiritually. So I look at the religious side of that as just the foundation. But as I begin to grow and I begin to mature spiritually, I've seen how the creator, building a relationship with the creator, just getting a better understanding of the word itself. Now I'm talking about the same information y'all read. wherever you reading the Bible, wherever you reading the Quran, wherever you reading the Ethiopian Bible, it doesn't matter what you are reading or what you are studying to understand religion. It started out with me first understanding the Word of God. That's all. Just to have a direction in life. Then once I was able to do that, it was like through the trials and tribulations and standing firm on his word, he said, I'm going to introduce you to who I became in the flesh. Now I'm talking about Steve Copeland. All right. So once he introduced me to who he became in the flesh, the spoken word, which became the written word, had become the living, breathing word. That's when my relationship began to change. That relationship was no different than me having a relationship with my wife, with my children. It was a connection. It became a relationship. Everybody don't get that. I understand that. So when you hear me say that I am a loving, kind, considerate, thoughtful person, that's because I'm talking about imitating Christ's humility. I'm talking about the person. I'm talking about the character. That's why when you hear me say things like, if a person don't know where they came from, they won't know where they're going. I'm not lost like that today. At one point when I thought I was found, I thought I was found. But I realized I was still in a place of darkness. Now, I might still be, but from where I'm at spiritually now, in my walk, my eyes are open. Now, and I know in the case of the spirit and that connection, you don't do nothing but grow. You mature more in your spirit, man. That's all I'm trying to educate the community about, helping people to understand. You know, when I say stuff like once I was lost, but now I'm found. You know, once I was blind, but now I see. And I can say that today because I see things that was always there, but I never really paid attention to. I can say that today. Like, wow. But now guess what? That's why he works with me to share my story. And I need you, when you come up on here, to share your story. That's why it's called His Story. His story. Her story. It's their story, which we read and we study from biblical terms. Or whatever, I was going to say traditions, the laws that you read. You're reading and studying about somebody else's story. We don't really know if it's true or not because we wasn't there to see it with our own two eyes. So we just believe what they saying is true. And then a lot of times, if you see the similarities there with your own life, you be like, God dang, I remember going through this. I remember going through that. I know I do. I was thinking about David today. And I mean, look, I didn't read the whole story of David. I ain't had to. You know why? Because God took me into David when I stepped outside my second marriage after I got ordained deacon. And God told me, he said, Steve Copeland, no matter how you stumble and fall, you still a man after my own heart. The goal was for me not to give up on the ministry and keep moving forward. So do you think I'm a judge people like T.D. Jakes? Do you think I'm a judge people like Jamal Bryant? Do you think I'm a judge people like Kenneth Copeland? Do you think I'm going to judge people that's in the ministry and fall short with the point they keep going?
Okay, so let me ask you this then. God has had me on 59 Psalms now for the past 2 or 3 years. What's up with that one?
You should know if he had you on there.
He's got me on it, and no negativity has been in my home. So, yeah, that's what that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know what song I'm on, but I know life been having its challenges.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna make nobody think because I'm a man of God that I don't go through stuff. I just go through it gracefully. Because we are without our struggles, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the majority of us go through what we go through. The real ones go through the fire, goes through the pit, comes out looking brand new, more defined, more educated, and that's us. That's the children of God that are coming out shining, going through what they went through in their life, because it was a test to see if we were going to be able to handle that pressure, or what was we going to do about that situation. So for me, in any situation he puts me in, I'm walking straight through it. I don't have time to go around it, don't have time to go under it. I'm going right straight through it because I know I can, because I'm God's child, and I know I can go right straight through it, no problem. That's for me, though.
And that's the blessing.
So,
in the same way, you saying, if I can do it, you telling that person you can do it. It's just that person have to believe it.
Without a doubt. I mean, if you can just imagine being able to go through whatever situation you're going through with a mindset of having God in your head at all times as you're walking, putting situations in your way just to see how you're going to clear them, or what are you going to do. And I'm not going to clear. I'm just going to walk right straight through life, because God has got me on a path where he knows where he wants me, and I'm not going to argue with him. So therefore, I don't have time to sit here argue with a person. I'll just go through you and be done with you.
And I love that. From what we do, some people you have to come hard on, some people you have to be gentle with. You have to know which way to go, because I'm gonna just say this as a sponsor, as a father. A couple of my children are very, very easy to deal with, and they listen very well. Then you might have that one that wants to challenge you, and then you have to muscle up on them. That's only because if you do not let them know who's the head and keep it in that sense, they will try to run over you. That's what a lot of children are doing with their parents now. You cannot give your kids, or in a marriage relationship, anything, you cannot give your partner the authority that you are this weak individual, or they will run over you.
This is why I can actually walk around with my head held high, spirits lifted, and not have to worry about nobody being out here, because I can see you, but I ain't got to see you. I can talk to you, but I'm not going to talk to you. You lost that privilege when you decided to hurt me. So now that karma's coming back on you, now you're trying to make yourself look good. No, I'm sorry. You never existed to me. And that's how God wanted me to see you. He wanted me to see you in your true form, which I already knew before I even took the project on to see what would happen. God showed me everything from beginning to end. Once you see something, you cannot go back to not seeing what God has put in front of you. If that makes sense.
They can't dare shut it out. They try to avoid it. That's why people tend to run the other way.
But those that are strong enough, that knows what that means, them are the ones that are going to prosper and get through life the easy way. Because they have God on their side.
I hear what you're saying. I'm checking something out while you're talking. Even though I know deep in my heart I'm a chosen child, I think all of us, because he created all of us, are his chosen people. It's just some of us tend to obey their callings and some tend to run. And that's what I begin to understand when it says many are called, but few are chosen. I flipped it around to say many are called, but few obey that calling. Because some people know what God called them to do, but they run from it. And that's what I have to understand. Some people will run because they are afraid. It takes a lot of courage and confidence to walk in what you was called to do.
True.
And that's just me looking back over my life, as far as the calling on my life.
Me too.
Yeah. And
me too.
I have seen people come in the ministry, serve in the ministry, and fell short, but then walked away. And what I tell them, you can't stay away. Hey, Roxy, you can't stay away too long. Because if I know you got a calling on your life and you running from your calling, my goal is to encourage you to step back in that arena.
Right.
I know how it is to not feel like doing certain things, to encourage, to empower, to motivate the people. But then I have to realize it's not about you, Steve. It's not about you. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, it's my flesh that's not willing to do what the Spirit has called it to do. And that's why I have to remain honest with me, because my flesh is what tends to do what is wrong, go against the grain. And a lot of people don't realize that. We fight against, I'm getting ready to say flesh and blood. Each and every day, I have to surrender to my flesh. Now, in saying that, I'm going to say in recovery, each and every day, I have to surrender to the disease of addiction and tell myself no. It's just a daily reprieve. Sometimes we could use the word, I've been redeemed, I've been delivered, or we can say just for the day. For 33 years, I have not picked up no cocoa, alcohol, all of that. Just for today. Smugs, all of that. Just for today. For the past 7 years, I can say, since Smex was a major addiction for me, it's not that I planned it. I haven't had Smex in 7 years. And I'm blown away with that, because that was just as big as the other stuff for what I used to do. Lying was another one. Manipulating was another one. Gambling. I thank God that I never had the desire to gamble. I watch people lose a lot of money. I watch people lose their houses caught up in gambling. I thank God just for today that when it comes to the word addiction, I haven't been obsessively and compulsively caught up in a lot of outside stuff that caused me a lot of pain and misery. I did stuff that I knew would take my life when I was clean, when I first got clean too. I knew it would take my life, and I did it anyway.
Yeah, but look what you came through after the 2 years, what they did to you. Look what you did.
Keep it moving.
Out fighting. You
Keep it
came out
moving.
fighting. You came out strong. Come on now, brother.
Oh, I don't down none of that. I talk about that all the time. I was thinking about that coming home. And a part of me, right, it's like I wanted them to suffer just like they did me. And if I ever get to see that police again, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell him, and I'm going to tell her. I wanted to sock it to their tails so much. The same way y'all embarrass me in front of my family, my children, for what I do in the community, and I'm out in the community to help save lives like y'all, and for y'all to come up against me like that, please. So I had to learn to let it go.
Right.
I had to learn to let it go. I had to ask God to forgive me for the way I felt towards them. But God told me, he said, I'm gonna raise your name above every other name, just like Christ. He said, I'm gonna make your enemies your footstool. The same way he told me when I was over that prison. When I'm ready to come and get you, I'm gonna come and get you and bring you home. And he came and got me and brought me home. So be honest, everything you and I talk about, I know where I stand when it comes to the spirit. And that's just to empower, encourage. That's why I share my story, because people can relate better when you telling your story. And if they stuck there, they be like, oh, I'm next, something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though
I've told my story so many times, bro. It's like there's nothing changed about that story. I still do 4-step every morning, bro. I still take a moral inventory of myself every day. Regardless if I took one 6 months ago or not, I'm still taking another daily inventory of myself just to make sure that I'm on the right path, the right path that God has got me on. So I'm okay. I'm all right with that. This is what I have to do to make sure that I'm on the right path. Then let me do it. Don't try to change the way I'm trying to do something to please God, because this is what he's got me doing. He's got me on a mission to do something. What it is, I won't know until that mission comes, till it's brought to my face. Really. And people don't realize that when God puts a mission in your face, you'll know it. And when that happens, that's where you have to try to enlighten yourself to see what this person is going to do, what this person is going to say, or this, that, and the other, at least for me. You know, if you're not coming at me the right way, I have nothing to talk to you about. I'm sorry. But you're not my cup of tea. And God will notice that I've already picked everything up. He's just waiting for me to make my move and say, no, you're not good enough for me. And 9 times out of 10, when I do that, I'm happy. I'm grateful.
See, this is what I had to realize for me. To be able to come on this live every day at 6, stay on till about 8. It's a time frame. I pray that he humble me in order to use me. But what God has a tendency of showing me, you know how some people say, move me out the way, decrease me, increase you.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you are his messenger. So who else can he use? And if you have experience what you actually telling people about, that's even better, because you're not just sharing, you're giving a living testimony and how you was able to work up out of it through him. And that's giving people a sense of hope that feels like they can't turn their lives around. So when you call, rather like in our case, even though the majority of the men and women that I sponsored early on don't come to meetings like they used to, because they live in a productive way of life. They are responsible. They are moving forward in their life. They are grandparents now. They are business owners now. So what God did, he gave me the opportunity to open up a housing program where now when I say I sponsor men and women and children, it's just that I'm guiding people's lives more on another level now. And what I had to understand, the same method that I use for the 12-step spiritual program and helping turning the quality of individuals and family lives around, is the same method that I use over here. Either way, because that's what I was called to do. So I see the similarities there. I see the structure there, because that's what the housing program is designed around. The housing program is designed around the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts. So that's what I'm doing to run the business. I see it clearly. Because it's a spiritual balance. And no matter what, in order to get the spiritual balance in your life, you got to live by rules and regulations. Those are the traditions. And if you don't live accordingly, that's why a lot of people become criminals. So you want to break that cycle for some. If they don't live according to the laws that's created, they're going to end up in the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So it's people like us to create ways and means for other people that don't realize that you can come out of a certain lifestyle situation and become better people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put right there educational purposes only, because that's what we're doing. It's not as much about entertainment, right? Because some people would put educational and entertainment purposes only, which I got that. But with me, it's more about educating, encouraging, motivating, empowering the community. That's what it's all about. It's ministry. And some people, they focus, it's okay to focus. Like with me, no matter what I do, I got to make sure my heart, I got to make sure my spirit is right with God in order for me to feed the people back. I got to make sure I'm okay as a human being. So make sure I'm well rested, I'm well rounded, because I can only share a message of hope. If I'm in a state of depression, If I'm down and out, I'm going to share some negative stuff. That's what people do. If they're not energized, is they're not powered inside, they're going to share negative information. I hear it all the time. That goes to show you what they're living off. The energy wise. We was taught how to be honest with self, how to have faith back in self, how to trust back in self. When I started doing that, I realized that I had to feel this. These are spiritual feelings. And I had to realize I needed to feel that in the inside of myself. I need to start being honest with myself. So in those areas where I was used to telling lies, I had to start telling myself the truth. It wasn't about nobody else. I had to be honest with me. I had to have faith in me. I have to trust in me. And that goes back to the first step, honesty. The second step, open-mindedness. The third step, willingness. When I look at that first step and I admitted to God, right? I admitted to a power. I'm sorry. Come on, Steve. I'm trying to quote the first step back. We came to believe. Nope, that's the third. We admitted our powerlessness over our addiction and that our lives had become unmanageable. When I was able to do that, I was able to look at my life and I was able to see how the disease of addiction had gained control over my life through my obsessive and compulsive behavior. I realized that once I admitted, after I was able to admit my powerlessness, I gained power. I gained power. I gained the power. I came to believe that a power greater than myself would restore me from those things that I practiced in my first step. That's the insanity. I made the decision to turn my will and my life over to that power that I came to believe in, that now I call it a power greater than myself. I can call it a higher power. I can call it good early direction, or I can call it Jesus Christ. And that was beginning with my process of the 3 steps, which gave me the courage and the confidence to go inside of myself on a deeper level. That's the 4th step, which gave me the courage and the confidence to go inside and look at those things that I was running away from all my life. It gave me the courage and the confidence to share those things with another human being, like my sponsor. It could have been a therapist. It could have been a counselor, could have been a mentor, could have been a pastor. But I was able to share those things. In the process of me sharing those things with him, he wrote the list down of me acting out on my jealousies, my insecurities, my distrust, my unbelief, all this type of stuff. He pointed out the negative side of my behavior as well. That's what he showed to me. I came to believe that a power greater, once again, I came to believe that a power, a higher power, could restore me from that a day at a time. So I prayed and I asked him to remove those things from me. That's the 7th step. The 8th step, I made the list of the people that I harmed and became willing to make amends to them. The 9th step, I prepared to go back out and make amends to them, except for the ones that would bring me harm. And then I started understanding everybody you can't explain stuff to. Some stuff you just don't do again. Some stuff you got to apologize for and just leave it alone. Don't even tell them why you apologize, because it could endanger your life. The 10th step is when I take that daily inventory to make sure I'm not running off a lot of that old information again. So the 10th step is basically you praying, you taking a self-inventory. That's where your prayer and meditation start coming in at, because you're taking a good look at yourself. So once God made known to you, you rather something that he calling you to go out and do. That's the 12th step. So basically, I see it all rolled into one. It's in my livelihood. Now, being in a lot of people don't go back out in the streets to help others turn their lives around. That's what we was called to do, to go back out into the community. But a lot of people don't do it. So now, once again, it's not too many people like Steve Copeland that will take that time out and go back and embrace the community. And that's why I understand today why he had me start the housing program, why he had me speak out the way I do. You know, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. But you gotta be self-assured with yourself, because I understand it ain't all about me. And that's what my first sponsor, which passed away, told me. He said, man, get to know yourself because there's something special about you. I never forget what he said, for me to go back and help other people. And that's what I began to do when I started doing the step work. Now, like I said, right now to this day, I don't have a problem with going to a meeting and stuff like that. If I feel like I need to go around my spiritual family and sit with them and fellowship with them, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone. Because I don't ever want to forget where I came from. Because they say if you ever forget, you doomed to repeat. So I carry all of that on my heart and in my mind. And I practice it every day. You know, for the time that we've been in recovery, I'm well known. I already know it in recovery. Well known. They call me pastor. I don't do a lot of the dances or none of that. So they know when they see me, it's like, wow. But I'm no different than anybody else. Same way I step up in my church. I've been at the church for 25 years. I became an usher. I became I drove the van. I got into the drama ministry. I sung with the men's choir. I got involved in the church. So I know how important it is to get involved in these things and not pay a lot of attention to the people, because you got your cliques everywhere you go, even in church, even in NA. We got a group of people, sponsor brothers and sisters, and you know they stick together like glue. And look, I watch them now. A lot of them that I watch come through this process got 25 years, 27 years, 30 years now. I'm like, I'm so proud of y'all. Still going to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know how much attention they paying to their own families, but NA is their family. My sponsor, he's a pastor. He used to be warden over the prison. He might be retired now, and I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but I know if I need him, he's right there. But what I'm doing, everything he taught me as far as the recovery process, I'm standing firm on it. You know, living life. So you just, the stuff that you learned that was freely given to you, we just freely go and give it back to others. That's all. You can't put a price on it. And I know a lot of people, if they're not about recovery, they're not about spiritual growth, they don't understand. And I can't knock it. I just have to stay firm and continue doing what I was called to do. You know?
I think that's the majority of us. Is what we're doing is just continuing our paths and really not worrying too much, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And keep doing what we're doing anyway, and spreading the word, spreading, whatever we have to spread, the joy and the happiness of the word. It doesn't matter. This is why we're here. We're here to support each other and to help each other get through life. If you want the help.
Yep. That's the main key.
That's on you.
That is the main key. If you want the help.
If you want what we have, yeah.
And that's the first thing I tell people when they reach out to me. You are the one that have to do the necessary work. We will provide the services. If you Google the business itself or AI gonna tell you. It'll tell you everything, basically, the mission statement of the business. It'll break the LaTanya D. Copeland house down. It will talk about the LLC. It will talk about the couch talk. It'll talk about the teen talk show. It tells you these platforms are promoted on this channel, that channel, this channel. It tell you where they live stream at. Tell you how you can catch me. If you want to know the phone number, it gives you my phone number. Hey, I'll pull all that up for you. That's why I like picking with people, and I tell them, if you want to know anything about me, that's all you got to do is Google that name. Google that name. It'll tell you I'm a community activist. I'm not a politician. It'll tell you, no, he's not a politician, but he's grassroots. He's a community activist, stuff like that. So if any misinformation that's in there, they'll try to correct it. So that's what I like about it. And that's why I tell people, mainly people on TikTok, if you ever want to know what Mr. Copeland is all about, just Google me. Because y'all will sit back, people on here, and you feel like you coming in, and we know people come on here to be fake and phony. And I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of people be going on my checking out my profile. Anytime I'm on somebody's platform and I talk a certain way, they go check out my platform, my profile. I know they do. But now that they reading it and they find out that this man is just about what he say, they don't come back with something negative. Then you got those that come back and say, oh, he a deacon. Yeah, and because the moment they see that word deacon, oh, he must be sleeping with the people in the church. He must be doing this. He must be doing that. No, he's not. That's your bull crap. And people will do that. That's the first thing coming to their mind. If they've been hurt by somebody in the church, you got to be part of that crew. No, he's not. Stop putting everybody in that category. But that's what happens when you have people that's not satisfied with themselves. And I already know that. I already know it because, number one, when you sponsor people, when you have a housing program, I recognize people with psychological issues as well. I be wanting to call them out, but then I'll be like, some of them, I tell them, I say, you need to sign up for my mental health program. Because I hear it. They sound like some of the clients that's off of their meds. I know they be in a state of mania. And I'll be like, wait a minute, when the last time you had your meds? And some of them be sounding like they need to be on meds. I'll be like, oh my God. I deal with people that I know they got certain issues, right? But at least they will take their meds. You got people on TikTok sometimes, I hear it, mainly when you got about 6 or 7 of them trying to have a conversation at one time, over talking to each other, yelling and all of that. That's their brain speeding. That's their brains. I'll be like, oh my God. But it helps me because it helps me recognize certain things in clients. But because I've been doing it for so long, I can tell the ones that's mainly if we put you on meds and you get to the point you starting to do pretty well mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, that you might feel like you don't need the medication no more. And then you'll get to the point you'll stop taking it. And about a week later, your mind rushes running again. That's why I try to encourage people that if the doctor, the psychiatrist, puts you on meds, it's to help balance your brain out. Take your meds. It's going to be times where you might feel great, where you don't need it, you don't want it. But then it's going to be times if you don't take it, your mind is going to rush. And that's what people like me coming at, and I recognize where you at. Then the goal is to encourage you to get back on it. Some people know how to balance it out without meds, but some need meds. The ones that mainly need it, if they're suicidal or if they, tend to, because you got some of them out there that's
tweak a little harder. Just be honest. Tweak a little harder than other folks. That's all that is.
No, those are your words. I'm not using those words. You can use them. Tweaking a little harder. Some of them are out there. That's.
But I mean, it's a good way. I mean, I understand it's not the proper way, but I mean, for me, I understand what you're saying.
No, I had a friend. I didn't know that he had issues like that, and he got pew. How many rounds they normally have in their guns? They unloaded it in him.
I think 9.
And 12. I did not know, not that many. I did not know that. I knew he was a little wild, but I didn't know that he dealt with certain issues. And a police rolled up on him and took him out. Man, I was messed up because he was a community activist, and that's the same things when them 3 police was in front of my face. And God told me, shut up, Steve, shut up. Because about a week or 2 before they took him out, after they took him out, and they was in front of me, God had to shut my mouth because something said, man, shut up, Steve, because they waiting for you to make a certain move. It was 3 of them. They waiting to take you down. And I had to shut my mouth and went right to Twitter after that. Went to Twitter, telling Brandon Scott, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. And I had told Isabel Cummins, I said, I'm not working with the Eastern District Police Department no more, because my goal was to help slow down the crime in the Eastern District. She said, Steve, don't do them like that. Because you got a few spoiled apples that will, a few spoiled apples will ruin the whole bunch.
Will spoil the bunch.
Yep. And those was the ones that was coming at me. But I knew some great polices too. See, that's one thing They didn't really know about me. They knew of me, but they looked at me in a negative way, but not knowing that because little Steve played soccer, a lot of the fathers was polices and state troopers. They was YT. So I knew them from us just being together because of the children. And then because of the work that I did in the community, I had to get to know like the lieutenants, the captain, the colonel. I had to get to know who's who. Because anytime I seen somebody in the streets, if somebody was unalive and I seen them out in the white shirts, I always knew who they was. Those are the ones that I went and talked to. And I would tell them who I am and what I do. But if you was a regular street police, you wouldn't know who I was unless you dealt with me in that sense. And some of them that would act ignorant, they didn't know who I was. They didn't know that that's all I had to do was actually, if I wanted to blow things up, was make phone calls, point blank. That's what you do. But then you don't want to raise more ruckus than what really took place. And like I was telling the lady today at the hospital, I said, what disappointed me back then, I was with other nonprofit organizations and nobody stood up for me. They watched me. They watched how these police was coming at me because every time I would record it, the same way they cut on their cameras, I cut on mine. But the thing was with them, as a community activist, as a community organizer, my mouth is my biggest weapon. It is hard for me to just shut down. It's hard, mainly if I feel like I'm right about something, or if I feel like you lying about something. I'm going to speak up. Where most people, I realize, the ones that get paid will turn their backs and look the other way. I'm not one of those that get paid. And that's what I was telling the lady at the hospital today. I said that really, really disappointed me because the organizations that I'm with, they watch me. The politicians, the Republican Party, that asked me to come and help them win. They watch me. They watch what I was going through. Nobody, none of them. It was only one person, two, let me watch it, actually stood up for me. But actually, they should have came in droves and stood up for me. But I had to understand the ones that get paid, they limited in the work they can do. I don't get paid. So I can step across lines that a lot of them are afraid to talk about and do. That's why I was able to speak out on things that they would give you a list. They would give you like a prompt to read from. When you in certain areas, they want you to speak to the people in this way. They want you to speak to the people in that way to sell them a bunch of crap. No, I came true. Anytime I was called to ask to speak somewhere, and I'm with other organizations, whoever putting on that protest or that rally, and they got speakers, the speaker is normally speaking from a prompt or something that they wrote. I don't write nothing. I actually speak from experience. And they gave me paper to read. I'm like, I'm telling y'all now, I'm not gonna follow it. I'll remember some of it, but I'm not. Because I'll talk a little bit about the same way I learned in NA. I'll talk a little bit about the problem because we got to identify with the problem. Then I'll go right into the solution. That's how they showed us in NA. Don't stand the problem. You talk about it. I watch people in NA come and do a meeting. The meeting an hour long. They spend 45 minutes in the meeting sharing about their using, and then 5 minutes into the recovery. I'm like, what? Because that's not how I was taught. talk a little bit about, because everybody didn't do things the same way. We all had our different methods of how we use, but the pain was the same. No matter what, we all heard it. But our ways and means of doing it was a little bit different to sedate the pain. So I would always, right now to this day, I'm only going to touch a little bit on, I used to do this, I used to do that, I used to do this, and now I'll go into the recovery process. I don't give nobody no drug log. Nope. Nope. Some people, if that's all they have, that's all they have. Because you'll realize most of them that will spend 20 minutes, a half an hour, 45 minutes on a drug log is basically all they have. It's not a lot of recovery behind it. But that's just the way they sound good. And people can relate more. But when you in recovery, you touch on it just a little bit, then you go into the recovery process of what you can do a day at a time to stay up out of it. And if they call me to speak anywhere, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna touch on it a little bit, but then I'm gonna go into what we can do to help turn things around. That's why I like doing this. And a lot of people don't, if you don't have an open mind, you won't understand. But if you have a contradictory spirit that likes to debate and conflict everything, that's what you'll gravitate more to. I don't like doing it. I don't even like with my kids. If we talking about something and I can tell if their self-esteem is kind of low, because they'll start saying certain things. But then I'll hear them build their self back up inside too. If not, daddy gonna start saying encouraging words. Once I recognize where they at. A lot of people don't do that, man. It's like they hear you down, they hear you out, and they leave you struggling. I'll try to throw something in if it ain't no more than a joke. Just to get you out of that space. Yeah, I might get ready to go ahead and end this, OJ. I feel like I'm winding down.
It's up to you, sir. It's your lives.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to go get some rest.
I already been to sleep. That was the point. I had to get back up and do this. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and start letting my StreamYard, it's gonna generate little clips for me. So I don't have to break it down like I used to with TikTok no more. I can, if I want, I can go in and send little small clips over through TikTok, or I can go ahead and send the ones back over from StreamYard. And that's what I've been doing lately. I like that a lot better. They're not as long. Like most of mine is like 2 minutes and a half. And StreamYards is anywhere from a minute, well, lower. It could be 30 seconds. It all depends on what they pick. They pick what they feel as though the community might gravitate more to. And then I'll go over to YouTube, make sure they on YouTube and my other channels, so that people can see the small clips, because a lot of people is not going to look at the whole video itself. Some. All right, bro. Yep. I am going to end this. I am going to end this and chill out. Chill out.
Okay.
All righty, y'all. God's will.
You need to relax.
Yeah. God's will.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. All righty. Take care, bro. Love you.
Love you too, bro.
All right, let me end this. Let me get out of here before it send me to another platform. I gotta end this one. Come back over, because I gotta order me a tapper. All right, Baltimore City, I love y'all. Y'all know how this go, right? I do feel kind of tired. I do. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get ready to walk up the street. It's a meeting up the street. I love y'all. So I'm gonna walk up the street to the meeting.